I'd like to call to order the June 22nd, 2022 Townsend Conservation Commission meeting. Joan Savoy,
Present.
Linda Mack,
Present.
Ann LaQueer,
Present.
Jim LaQueer, present, and James Gates present. Holden is on his way. This meeting is being video recorded. Is anyone else recording? All right, chairman's additions and or deletions.
I'd just like to make a request as far as my reappointment is concerned. What's going on with that?
I'm so sorry.
Hi.
In regards to what, Jim, the status of it?
Yeah, as far as my reappointment is concerned. I was ordered on to be reappointed. I accepted it, but I haven't heard anything from anybody.
The BOS.
So, I would check with Kathy Spofford, and the selectman's office.
Okay.
I would also add, 4.3, Board of Selects. So the select board voted on 6/21/22 to appoint Patricia Jamoli, is that he?
Jamalo.
Jamalo,
Mm-hmm.
to the Conservation Commission. I have requested a meeting with conservation, or with the select board and the town admin regarding this, because it is outside of the way, or the policies and the way we have done things. I think the only exception was when you were appointed, we didn't make you sit through more meetings because,
Right. But the Board of
You've done
Selectmen told me to go to one of the meetings.
and I was there for
You were
that,
there for that.
meeting
Yeah.
when they said that.
And I
So,
said, that's fine. I'll go. Yeah.
right. So, it is select boards, they are the authorizing, or the authority on this, but I do feel that it, as a chair, it kind of causes some issues. So I have requested a meeting. Chair's report. Do not have anything to add at this time.
We do thank you for coming, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thanks
Yeah.
for showing an interest
Yes.
in being on conservation. Yeah.
It
might be that you need to come-
No,
No, you can-
we need
You
to
might as
do our
well
own,
sit
but
through, if you have the time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
review, approve the meeting minutes from 5/25 and 6/8. Everyone have a chance to review it.
Yes.
Discussion,
We're gonna do them separately.
yes. So
Oh, I've
we have
got nothing.
discussion on 5/25/22 meeting minutes.
I'm good on 5/25. I
Hold
do have something on 6/8.
Wait for Colby.
Hey, Cole.
Colby, we're discussing the meeting minutes for the past two meetings.
Okay.
What? Yes, you do. Please.
All right, Colby Streeter, present.
Good. Second. Get settled.
I'm fine. Good.
So, up for discussion is meeting minutes from 5/25. Do you have a chance to review?
I read that they were fine.
Good.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Jim, good. So, can I get a motion, please?
Motion to accept the meeting. The meeting minutes from 5/25/22.
Joan Savoy,
Yes.
Need a second.
second, sorry. Do we have a second?
Second. Well, I mean, you know,
Okay. We'll give Colby that one.
I win.
Joan Savoy,
Yes.
Linda Mack,
I wasn't there, so I'm refraining.
okay. Colby Streeter,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Jim,
yes.
James, yes. We have a discussion on meeting minutes from 6/8/22.
I couldn't find anything, any issue.
I had something, Sir Chair. Just
Just
a,
Ann, or Joan, sorry.
thanks, a typo in 1.3, it's conferences, plural. Matt, I'm pretty sure we called education and conferences. And I was wondering, in 4.2 and 4.3, we had, wasn't one of those letters, someone had written that they were concerned about being able to write in anonymously to the Conservation Commission, and they didn't know why they had to put their name, right? Wasn't that one of those letters?
That was part of 4.3.
Oh, okay, so I'm wondering if that shouldn't be mentioned in there.
I didn't
That-
mention any names in it, right? Or
No, not their name, but their letter did state they were concerned about anonymity, that, and they were questioning why they couldn't be anonymous, and they were, it worked out well, but didn't we discuss, like, going forward, we were gonna let people give anonymous comments? Did we get anywhere with
We
that?
did not discuss
We didn't.
that,
We did not.
Okay, all right.
but the letter was redacted.
Yeah, their name was
So,
redacted.
I
That's
assume that
fine.
that's
Yeah.
moving forward, that's how.
So do you want to add that to that section?
Maybe we should add that to the agenda, Sir Chair, then, that we discuss, letters coming in, that if, whether or not we're all right with them coming in anonymously to us. Maybe, or down the, we don't have to do it tonight, but it's a thing.
No, we might as well just keep pushing forward and just add it to 4.4.
Okay, thank you.
Because it
So,
shouldn't be a big discussion, in my opinion.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, okay, Matt, never mind 4.2 and 4.3. And I just want to say on the 5.1 on the Black Swallow Wart, I've never seen anything like that in my life. It was amazing. And so if you ever see this stuff, go crazy. It's like, you don't want it anywhere near you.
Oh, because you were taking it out.
I
That's
thought
right.
it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I
It
heard
was
about this.
unbelievable. All at the police station.
Mm.
That's good. That's my only,
We need to vote on
Yes, or do we have any other discussion on it?
that was okay.
So we need a motion and then a second, please.
Motion to accept the meetings, the minute meeting. The meeting minutes from 6/8/22.
Second.
Joan Savoy,
yes.
Linda Mack,
I wasn't there.
Yes.
Colby Streeter,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes,
Jim,
Yes.
James, yes. I actually want to backtrack for a second and under 5.1, there is a find it from Matt. Just a workshop in Groton this Saturday. That we can discuss quickly. So we'll add that under 5.1. All right. 1.6 agents report. Hi, Jessica.
Hello. All right, work from June 6th to June 17th. Building permit interdepartmental signatures. I had 209 Pierce Road, 3 Magnolia Lane, 3 Capricorn Lane, 35 Bayberry Hill Road. We completed the referral for the planning board for 32 Main Street. Board of Health interdepartmental signatures, 198 North Road and 15 Emery Road. We have now made 13 inquiries to date on order of conditions issued in the past that do not have certificate of compliances. Still have the RDA for 46 Emery Road tree cutting for safety concerns on hold. Resubmitted request for COC on 1, 5, and 7 Bailey Road. They resubmitted on June 13th. The RDA for 1 Brown Road, the determination was completed and sent on June 15th. RDA for 12 South Street. The determination was completed on June 15th. We have a request for OOC extension for 27 Scales Lane. We did an intake and site visit for that. Request for COC for 4 Capricorn Lane. I did intake and site visit. RDA for 33 Greenville Road, the recycling center, did intake and site visit. We did a pre-construction inspection for 10 to 12 Spalding Street, and then we received the correspondence from MACC regarding our membership renewal.
Okay, is there anything else, Jessica, that wasn't on here that you'd want to add?
I don't think so. Is
Can I
that
ask
a setup question? Am I missing something?
I have a
Yes,
question,
Yes,
please.
John?
Thank you, James. 46 Emery, did Mike or Jessica say they were gonna just drive by there and take a peek?
I don't think we ever determined that, but the applicant did reapproach us a few weeks ago and said that everything's on hold just for financial purposes. So I think it's just indefinitely on hold.
So they reached out, that's lovely, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, James King chapter.
I thought I was being
Mom.
invaded by hermits.
Mom,
Okay, so we do not have any hearings or appointments tonight. Work session, 3.0 work session on 3.1 TWB 2022-131 33 Greenville Road, request for determination of applicability for improvements to the existing transfer station. Some of which will occur within 100 feet of drainage basin. Jim?
There should be a correction on there because that's not a transfer station, it's a recycling center.
So noted. I see Stan is with us. You're muted, Stan.
Would you like me to share my screen?
Hartley, can you share Stan's screen, please?
Done.
Or give him the.
I think I can do it.
I think you're all set. You can try.
No, that's not. Not working. That didn't work.
Your plan was up.
Oh, it was? Okay, I couldn't see it. Okay. You can see that?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is, to Jim's point, this is the recycling center. There's 3 existing buildings there. There's a garage and a couple of sheds. There's some storage trailers there. And there's 3 roll-off dumpsters there, 4 that now sit on regrind. And there's a detention basin or a depression at the back of the site where runoff comes off of the capped landfill and goes into that depression. And then there's a drain pipe that goes out of that, which I couldn't find where that goes, but It's only about 800 square feet, but we thought it would be prudent to make you guys aware of it by filing an RDA. It's not jurisdictional under the Wetland Protection Act. The proposal is to add a concrete pad for the dumpsters, for the roll-offs to sit on, and then pave around them, which will make it so that people have a defined area to travel on. It'll minimize all the dust and dirt that now gets kicked up, and the runoff from the pavement will be recharged into a recharge trench, which will, again, minimize siltation that might end up in that basin. It's pretty straightforward. It's an existing disturbed site, and I think we're making some good improvements to the site to help the environment and help keep the place clean. The site is in endangered species habitat, and we have filed with Natural Heritage. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Can I make any comments on that, James?
Well, I'm gonna. Stan, who's the applicant in this? Is it the town of Townsend, or is it the health?
Well, I think
Department?
it's
Board of Health, I'm sorry.
the Board of Health, which is essentially the town. I mean, it'd be like any other town board applying. It's essentially the town.
Can we ask Mike, James? Please?
Well,
Over.
because the reason I asked is that on the WPA form and the MESA filing, it has applicant as the town of Townsend. You know,
And the land is owned by the town, actually, so that they would be the applicant.
Okay. So Jim, as we all know, is on the Board of Health. And I'm gonna ask Mike Crowley for guidance on this.
Sure, what's up? What can I help with?
The applicant is the town of Townsend.
Mm-hmm.
On the plans, it says prepared for the Board of Health. Jim, as we know, Jim is on the Board of Health. I am asking for guidance on this.
Sure.
Did Jim,
Um,
is that the question?
Yeah, because the applicant, again, is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
town of Townsend.
Yeah.
I
But he's
can
on the
be
Board of Health.
Two different bodies in town.
Oh. I know, and
But the applicant,
the applicant.
I get it. Okay,
Or is there the other side of the field?
so what's Mike gonna say?
Mike?
Oh, yeah, I would. Yeah, so I talked to the town clerk about it, and Jim can serve on 2 boards. But if this is an application by the Board of Health and Jim is on the Board of Health, he would be involved as the applicant and therefore would have to recuse himself if that was the case. That was a good catch you made there about the town of Townsend being the applicant, but it does seem like it's that it's the Board of Health too.
Well, on the state
often note-
forms,
Yeah,
on the WPA form and the MESA filing, it states town of Townsend. And what?
It doesn't state Board of Health.
Right.
The plan was done for the Board of Health, James?
I think that's the way that it has to be done because it has to be from the town.
This is a confusing situation right
Yeah.
now, but I only want to reflect on the history of why that culvert was in place, because I was on the Board of Health when that was installed.
well, can I offer a comment then?
Yes,
Since Jim does seem to know a lot about the site, maybe it would be good for this circumstance for Jim to step around to the other side of the table and speak on behalf of the Board of Health. That way he can share that information. Because that information he's trying to share is not something that's a CONSCOM member, that's a Board of Health member. And in this case, his expertise is probably more valuable in some cases. So,
Okay, so we should show that in the minutes, right?
yeah.
yes.
That he went to the other side.
Jim?
Thank you. I want to reflect on what's going on up there at the recycling center. as far as what the projected plan is. And, I was on the, I gotta slow down a minute. I gotta get my thoughts together. Excuse me. I was elected to the town of Townsend Board of Health, I believe it was 2000, possibly 99. And at the time, we had just started the project of capping the dump, which today is the recycling center. In the midst of the capping of the dump, when you go behind the garage at the recycling center, there was a considerable pile of gravel there. And a lot of that gravel was transferred to the capping of the dump as it went through in layers. That culvert had to be put in place back then because of the seasonal fall heavy rains and then the spring runoff. As far as a retention pond or something like that, that was just to make it convenient for the trucks to go back and forth across the culvert without causing more damage to wetlands, I might add, by firming up the situation with the culvert in there. The culvert was not removed. Why, I don't know, but it didn't have to stay there because it doesn't really serve a purpose. And as we know, we viewed it and it was totally dry. It was just, there's nothing here, there's no wetlands vegetation or anything. Now, by determining that not being a wetlands, where Stan is at with me, because Stan and I have talked about that, that would also give us an opportunity to be able to move that slab farther back, which is going to give the access to the trucks coming in and out more availability for turning and loading those dumpsters and removing those dumpsters. It's initially going to be done with regrinds, and as the budget comes through, then it will be capped off with pavement at a later time. By not having the problem with the potential wetlands that we've determined is not there, we can actually slide this slab back probably about 10 feet further. And when we're removing all the materials around that slab area, we could actually start getting rid of that little trenching area by filling it in because it's not a wetlands. It wouldn't do anything at all. It's not a problem.
Do you
Pardon me?
there were two pipes
There are two pipes there. We just leave in the ground because they're only for seasonal usage.
would,
They haven't been used since the equipment started stopped going over them. That's why it's all grown up with the brush and the trees that are there now.
Can I see the plan?
Trying to simplify this so that we can
So
go
it's hard
forward
to
and
see.
everybody's happy.
There's gonna be a change made, is that?
this is probably the simplest. But, so I guess Stan and Jessica would connecting those pipes in that depression, and covering it, be acceptable.
I think so. From what Jim says, they don't go anywhere, and we didn't find an outlet to them. And I think that depression just holds runoff when there's a heavy rain or something. It holds runoff, but it doesn't drain. It infiltrates into the ground, provided those pipes actually don't do anything. And they were clogged, and we couldn't find an outlet. So I tend to believe Jim that they really don't do anything, and that would actually, that thing now collects junk and stuff blows in there. I think it would help eliminate some of that trash that ends up in there too.
That was my first thought was, will it eliminate the potential contamination or collection of debris and trash and things that will cause issues, moving forward.
And
Just-
I
Go ahead, Stan.
not to sound like a Jim's parent, but it would give them a little more room to maneuver around the roll-offs and clean up where they have those temporary storage trailers and stuff. It would make the site work better.
Mhm.
And this is town property. This is a recycling center. And in one day later on, I'm sure there's going to be a transfer station there. So it's going to work out for the long term, also the short term, all the way around. It's going to be a benefit to the town and the taxpayers.
Colby, you weren't on the site visit. Do you have any questions?
A little bit. Jim, would filling in this drainage area be part of this process that we're looking at right now, part of these plans?
I didn't need to go.
The idea is to fill in the drainage area Is that part of the plans that we're looking at?
This is being presented for the first time right now because I'm on the other side of the table. I've been involved with it for 21, almost 22 years. I know what's going on there. Once again, that little pipe was, the 20-inch pipe was put in so that the equipment could cross that area without disturbing and making mud and getting stuck and all that stuff. And it's only serving as a basin right now to be a trap. When we had the building built by Neshoba Tech, all the kids are throwing all the trash in there, breaking light bulbs, etc. So by taking the move right now, improving everything, being able to slide that slab farther back, the future endeavors we're gonna have in town and possibly going to a transfer station, that's gonna assist us in the long run. And get rid of that little puddle that's causing this problem.
Yeah,
It's not even a puddle.
No,
Oh.
not a puddle.
No, it's
Jessica, you saw no signs of
Yeah, I mean, I think
meet
that
the criteria.
drainage basin is probably the best word, because I don't think it would even meet the definition of a wetland for our bylaws. As Stan said, it is exempt or not jurisdictional under the WPA. I don't think it's jurisdictional under our bylaws either, so.
I tend to agree with that statement, but since people seem to have some concerns about it, I thought it would be best, and it took me a while to convince Jim of this, that we should file an RDA just so that everything's above board and people and everybody knows that what's going to happen there, and nobody down the road or when they start working can say, hey, you never filed with conservation or anything. So we're hoping to get a negative determination, even that it isn't subject to even the local bylaw. And then, so then if they make changes, it really doesn't matter because it's out of your jurisdiction.
I would say to that effect, I mean, if you do plan on expanding that area significantly in the future and clearing vegetation and going out further from where it's currently disturbed, we might need to relook what else is around there. But
Oh,
for what's
absolutely.
proposed now, I think that it is okay.
Linda and Joan, do you have comments?
Yeah, I just, so this isn't a wetland at all. It
No.
isn't even under our bylaw, like whatever.
It didn't meet any of
It
the
didn't meet any of
criteria.
the criteria. And they're just doing this to make sure, okay. And Jessica, did you just say something like there might be other areas that might be wetlands down the road or something? Did you
Yeah, I
just-
mean, just looking at the online map, there's a stream, and again, this is just the online map, so who knows if it's there in real life. There is a stream map, but it's several hundred feet away. So I was just saying if there are plans to vastly expand the drop-off and pickup area in the future, then we probably would want to revisit the wetland and streams, but
Yeah, there are
as it
strict
stands now,
precautions.
I don't think there's really anything under our jurisdiction.
then
But
this-
just to continue to advise based on how the MESA review comes back.
Okay,
Oh, Jessica, so the MESA review hasn't come back yet?
I believe it did.
Stan, that one's on you. I don't
No,
know.
I haven't received anything from them yet.
There's something in the folder about it, or is that just the application?
I think the
That's
application.
the application, but that really shouldn't affect, that wouldn't affect your decision. If MESA is going to require them to do something, then they'd have to do whatever MESA required them to do. And since there's no conservation jurisdiction, it really, nothing, we wouldn't have to come back and see you regardless of what MESA said.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's not like we're waiting for a DEP number. MESA's like kind of a totally different animal.
right. No
Kind
pun
of,
intended.
definitely.
No pun intended.
Yeah. So they'll let you know when if there is endangered species that you can.
Well,
do
it's
the-
mapped mapped in habitat on the maps, but if there's if there's any endangered species there, they're taking their lives in their hands when it's open. So I don't know what they'll say, but typically on these little things like this, they most of the time they give you a no-take letter.
Right.
Okay, so there's no way this is a vernal pool or anything like that.
No.
I didn't go on the site inspection, so I don't
There
know.
weren't any plant characteristics. It looked like it's a gravelly soil up there anyways. But
It's
just
all gravel. There's no place for water to catch except one on the far side of the landfill where it's all capped with the lagoons are,
Mhm.
where the stream goes by the backside, and that's a long ways away from this.
Because you know, a vernal pool just is there in the spring, it dries up.
No. This was created by man years ago.
Okay,
It was a precautionary thing so they could do the work.
Vegetation is all
But
trees.
we're a lot under the gun with this as far as what we want to do because we got a grant from the state or somewhere
Mhm.
to get started on the slab. So we really like the approval to be able to move forward
good.
before the 1st of July, so it doesn't give us much time.
Sir Chair, just for a point of information,
Yes.
vernal pools can be, created by humans. They
Yeah.
can.
I'm not challenging that when
they
you're
can
right.
Turn into vernal
Yeah.
pools.
That's right, but there is no vernal pool there. That's just, it's dried up all of summer.
All right.
Yeah, and this is the area. Actually, Colby Soup is one there. Like,
Oh, and this is the area here.
yeah. It's just a depression. Again. Jessica, I don't know if you have anything else to say about it, but it's just a depression that was there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just was, while you guys were talking, I was looking back at old aerials and I just, yeah, it's so disturbed through there. I can't imagine that thing is naturally established. So, especially if the culverts are not mapped and hard to find, I'm sure they're collapsed and broken and not even conveying water probably anymore. So,
They don't appear to be.
yeah.
Do we have-
I mean, my comment would be if you guys are considering this as not jurisdictional, your determination this time would be -6, which means the area or work described is not subject to our local municipal review.
Okay.
Do we have any other?
No, I'm good.
Are you good, John? Can you, get a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion that TWB 2022-131 be issued a -6,
Non-jurisdictional.
non-jurisdictional, -6.
We have a second.
Second,
Joan Savoy,
Yes.
Linda Mack,
Yes.
Colby,
yes.
and
Yes,
James, yes.
Thank
Stan,
you.
are you staying on, Stan, for 27 scales?
No, I wasn't asked to. No, I don't know what's going on there.
That's good. Does he need to? Because
I
No,
can't.
no.
I don't think so. I don't think the applicant's here and I haven't really been able to reach them for communication, so probably not vote on
And
that one tonight anyway.
I didn't find that order of conditions that you asked me about, Jessica. I didn't find it recorded, but
Yeah, me
that
neither.
doesn't mean it's not, because they get indexed weirdly sometimes, but I
They
couldn't
do.
find it. So.
Yep, yeah, so we're just trying to nail out those details, I think, before we
Okay.
take any action, but thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Good night.
thanks, Dan.
Hey, thanks, Dan.
So, 3.2, request for OOC extension for 27 Scales Lane, TWB 2019-156. Jessica, you recommended that we continue this. I do remember there being a DEP number up there. At some
Hey,
point.
Stan, could you stop sharing your screen, please? Your drawings look great. Or Hartley, maybe you can disconnect him. Not sure.
I'll try. Give me a second here.
Stan can just leave the meeting, right?
There we go.
Okay.
All right. Yes, so 27 Scales Lane. So the DEP number we had on file was incorrect and doesn't actually exist because I did some digging, and what I can only assume is that because the two wetlands on the property are isolated, that makes them non-jurisdictional at the state level and only jurisdictional to our Townsend bylaw. So when that is the case, the applicant does not need to file with the state. So that is why we're finding that this order of conditions only has a TWB number associated with it and not a DEP file number. But I did a quick site visit last week, I guess, early last week, and all the erosion control had been removed, which is not supposed to happen until the permittee receives their certificate of compliance. And then, as Stan had just mentioned previously too, I did not find evidence that the order was recorded with the Registry of Deeds either. The applicant has a few different LLCs and businesses, so I tried those, but I didn't see anything tied. So been trying to get in touch with them to get those two items addressed, likely prior to you guys approving that extension.
What's the name of the applicant?
It's,
Oh,
no, it's Brett's.
Is it
Alright.
Brett?
Brett King is
Yeah.
the shop.
King.
that's this one.
I think the original permit went to like WK Realty or something, but it's, I mean, WK,
Not
like,
gonna-
so.
yeah.
Is that William Cahill?
I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions.
Sounds like it's all.
I don't want to make this.
I know.
So if you can't get a hold of Brett, I have ways to get a hold of Brett.
Okay, no, I've emailed them several times, and then he called me this morning and I missed it, and I called him back and it went straight to voicemail, and that's all we've had so far.
All right, so he's aware of it.
Yes, oh yeah, he's aware, yep.
So,
I make a motion that we continue the extension request until the applicant addresses these two items as per our conservation agent's suggestion.
Second?
Joan Savoy,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Colby,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
James, yes. Next on the docket is request of COCs for Capricorn, right? Yeah. 4 Capricorn Lane, DB number 308624. Jessica, you had, there were issues with this one?
No, it was one of the orders that we had reached out to that was expired but never had a certificate of compliance tied to it. So this one, actually, the work was never completed. So yeah, I went out and I did a drive-by, and there's no addition there indeed. So it just needs to get a COC so that she can record it and clear her title.
So if I may, so they wanted to do the work, they got the order of conditions, but the work never happened. So we're gonna give a COC and say it was the order of conditions is invalid.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you.
Unfortunate, a lot of work went into this.
Yeah. When was it submitted?
Originally 15, oh,
Yeah,
2015. So I make a motion that the COC determination for 4 Capricorn Lane be invalidated, Jessica, how would you word this? Please.
Just, yeah, the checkbox is called invalid order of conditions that I will be checking. So.
Do I make a motion that this application be marked as invalid order of conditions? Is that
Yes.
good enough? Okay, thank you.
Jessica, are there any fees to this because of the legwork that is involved in?
Yeah, we did collect a small fee from her. So
Great.
that's so we're squared away with that.
So do we have a second?
Second.
Joan,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Colby,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Jim? Yes. James? Yes. Request for COCs for 157 Bailey Road, DEP number 308639, 308638, and 308637. Continued from 6/8. Jessica, you and I had a correspondence this morning that this was taken care of.
Yep, we have the fees in hand, so ready for you guys to vote.
Are we allowed to know which fee schedule was settled upon?
Yeah, the newest one, the applicant withdrew and then resubmitted last week, so that they were considered under the new fee schedule.
Thank you.
All right, we need a motion and a second, please.
I make a motion for the issuance of a COC for 157 Bailey Road, DEP 308-639, 308-638, and 308-637.
Second.
Joan Savoy,
Yes.
Linda Mack?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So it looked like these, maybe this was all worked out between the two of you, but it looked like he didn't meet the orders of condition. Is that correct?
There was one where
There were two places where it was off by
a couple feet where the riprap
Yeah.
had wandered a little bit past where it was supposed to be on the plan.
Okay.
But the vegetation had reestablished itself within the riprap.
Okay. All right. Because I saw the photos and I just was thought. Yeah. Okay.
So Linda,
Yes.
Colby,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
James, yes. They're all set, Jessica.
Great, thanks.
Thank you for your work on that.
4.0 correspondence. 4.1 update on 61 Edward Road from our land use coordinator, Mike Crowley. Hi, Mike.
Hello. So yeah, I don't know if you guys got the letter, but I wrote a little letter up to you guys from myself about 61 Edwards Road. I won't read it off to you because you all have it right in front of you, but basically I had an opportunity to speak with the resident at 61 Edwards Road. I went by a little after 6 o'clock at night and he was home by that point, and had a good conversation with him. Like I mentioned in the letter, he acknowledged the receipt of a first correspondence from the CONSCOM and acknowledged the issue. And after some conversation, we had some discussion that he would be willing to work on some stuff to help address the issue. However, he's dealing with a situation that makes him physically unable to deal with it himself. So I was requesting permit, like the CONSCOM to suspend moving forward with enforcement and allow me as land use coordinator and Jessica's CONSCOM agent to work with them and see if there's a way that we can address the issue and get it resolved. But given the fact that he's got a situation that makes it physically challenging for him to address the issue himself, I think it would be a great opportunity for the town to figure out if there's a way that we could, collaborate or get some volunteers or something like that to help out. So I just wanted to give you guys an update and check in with you guys about that.
That was well done, the letter, I think.
Yes, it was.
And I
very
really
well done.
appreciated that, we were being sensitive to the fact that he has some health issues. And I had the same thought that if we could get some volunteers to help him get it out of there, might be good.
I volunteer.
Me too, I guess. Linda too.
Yes.
Depends on the day.
Mike, Ann has a question for you.
Sure, what's up?
Mike, did you look into the Boy Scouts, or are you gonna go try that, or?
At this point, I didn't initiate anything to address the concern until I came back to talk to you guys. Because when we left it off, it was, let's try and reach out to this person and see if we can get connected with him and figure out what's going on. When it became apparent to me that there was, he has a temporary situation, it seems, but a situation that definitely makes it so he's unable to address it himself. I felt it was best to let you guys know, defer to your input, but I do think that it's a great opportunity for figuring out a way to just help out a resident and solve the issue, which needs to get addressed, and he acknowledges that. So I also think it would be helpful if at one point I could sit down with Jessica, or Jessica to even come out and talk to the resident, and we could delineate exactly where it is that he needs to have stuff, because I think he doesn't fully understand. Like, I think he's mindful at this point that he's not supposed to have, a lawnmower in the wetlands, but I don't think he recognizes, I'm not sure how well he recognizes where that buffer is. I know it was included in the correspondence, but I think it's just a kind of thing that a good conversation could help. So,
I will chime in real quick on that too. So I sent him 2 letters, and the second one was actually returned to us about 2 months after I sent it. I had sent it via certified mail, and it had showed that there were attempts to deliver, but since no one was there to sign for it, it was returned to us, but about 2 months later. So in that second letter is where I explained to him how to try to locate the wetland boundary. So unfortunately, that was truly lost in the mail. But yes, definitely willing to work with him.
Educate.
I don't see a need to vote, but go ahead.
Does this individual have the financial means to provide for a dumpster, or does the town have those resources?
I have not discussed that with him at this point. I also, it's one of those things that we could look at it, and it might be simply that, again, I don't know for certain what's going to happen, but it could be simply that there is stuff that is too close to the wetlands, and we could simply move it another 30 feet away, and it would be outside of the wetlands area. Or if given the circumstance, if we're going to be, like I know there's a broken down large tarp that he used to have over his car that is at this point destroyed. It might be the kind of thing that, helping him break that down into smaller components that could be manageable to be addressed. I'd work with him to figure out what would be best appropriate. But we didn't get into it. We simply kept it as, there's an issue. Would you be willing to work to try and address it? Yes. All right. Well, I'll go back to Conscom and check in with them.
Thank you, Mike.
Do we feel that we need to vote on anything, or just keep
Yeah.
working ahead?
Just keep letting us know.
If some action has been taken within a reasonable time, I think we ought to readdress the situation so that it gets taken care of, period.
Well, the ball is, ball's in our court
Yes.
now, so.
You want to put a time frame on it right now, that it's got to be started within 30 days or something?
Mike, do you think this is something that we could have?
I'll try and go out and reconnect with him next week if that's what the committee wants to do, and we can start figuring out what the plan is. The 30-day timeline, I don't know about. It kind of depends, but I do think this is a priority that needs to get addressed quickly, and I can make it a priority to try and get on it. And I will, no matter what, how about we say, I'm going to come back to Conscom and give you guys regular updates until this is resolved. Is that way you can be fully appraised of where it is in the situation. And you can be like, well, this is taking too long, or great job. You did an awesome job, Mike. Well done getting it done. I always am happy to hear.
In my opinion, I think if we put a time frame or a timestamp of September 1st on it, and I don't even know if we need to come back to us, or you and Jessica can work together, and I can provide a name for the local, or for the NOLA group, the volunteer group from the high school. They're literally an army, and will come in and take care of it very quick.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
you know, and it's a very organized group. So
That'd be great.
just as,
I mean, I would like updates just because I think it's really interesting and I think it's important that we work with residents in a good way, so
Yeah, in a positive.
in a
manner.
positive way.
But
So
do you feel that we
just a
need
quick
to,
update, you know, just like as a report, we just
in terms of making decisions, do you feel that it should come back to us though?
to make a decision
Or,
on it.
yeah,
No.
No.
No, I think he can deal with it. But I'd just like to know how he's, you know, how the president is doing and if it got cleared up and like, that's just my,
and that's kind of, I guess, what I was trying to,
was that what you were trying?
well, yes, you just need to sound better.
I will promise updates along the process, and I think that I will definitely come back by September 1st and give you it's all done, or here's why it's not done, because I think that's a very reasonable timeline to know, like, a proper update by then. So I'm happy to accomplish all that and get you guys anything you want. Thank you.
And even Jessica could put in her, you know,
Yeah.
reports, just
That's true.
where the
Yeah.
time frame and
That's fine.
so that
I will
everyone's
say it's
updated.
probably 1,000 times easier to clean all that up in the winter when those
was thinking
grasses
the
aren't
same
4 feet
thing.
tall, but
I agree with you on that because of ticks and
yeah. Especially for, like, if we're gonna send kids out, I mean, the slopes out there, if you guys know where this is, like, they're very steep. So if there's a lot of vegetation and they're just wearing sneakers, you know, we don't really know what's out there in terms of debris. So just trying to be safe, but also clean this up, it might be a good idea to wait until the grass is down. But again, that's, you know, another 6 months.
Sounds like we need an exploratory vision.
it's not even 6 months. We're halfway to.
5 months. I know. Gosh, don't say it.
I mean, even if I know, yeah, let's not think about that. But so even if it doesn't, I mean, there's
It was
no,
the summer
there's
solstice,
no
and you guys
like,
are already talking about winter.
there's no actual damage to the wetland that's occurring more than the debris that's in there already. It's not nothing more is going to be
There's no
happening, correct?
cars in there. It's
Right,
just-
so.
So
we
there
can
was-
wait.
There were like a couple plastic lawn chairs and a lawnmower. I don't know if it was fueled or not, but
Yeah.
once I sent out that first letter, then he did actually pull stuff out of the wetland itself. So a lot of it's just, you know, still 5 feet away, but at least it is outside of the wetland for now.
So if there's anything that could, like the fuel or something, could hurt the wetland, then yeah, we should get that out sooner rather than later.
So maybe we think about this strategically then.
Well, I'm happy to go out, talk to the resident. We can
Yeah.
figure out with Jessica exactly what needs to be moved, and we'll try and get it out of there. And maybe it's even just, you know, like the lawnmower, if that's the high priority risk item, then I just drag it across the property for that day and get that done. And then we come back with some strapping youth to move big, heavy stuff. I'm happy to do that and figure it out. But right now, it's more so like when I arrived at the property, I just walked up to the resident's front door and knocked on his door. I didn't go out into the side yard to see exactly what there was or how much there was down the slope. But thank you for letting me work on that.
Okay. Good,
So we good? Move on?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
4.2, renewal fees for MACC membership.
Oh, so
I can speak to that, Sir Chair.
Okay.
So, first of all, Matt, I would like you to know that I've been told twice that that bill was paid, so we'll keep on that one.
I knew we had addressed that before. Yeah.
Yep. And also, I will say that the list, I have been sending updates of new, you know, I've been saying who left, who's been added, and clearly that's not reflected on this list, so I'll get a updated list to them. But also, so our WPA fund, my understanding is that dues cannot be paid from it, but memberships can be. So I do believe these dues have to be paid out of the new budget monies available to us in July. So, but I'll get with the accountant's office.
Yeah, this
Well, they're calling it dues.
Yeah.
They're calling it dues. So I need to, that's why I want to sit down with the accountant. Because when you read the regs, they call it, there's dues and there's memberships.
Yeah.
And I know for certain that memberships can be paid out of the WPA, but if these are really dues and, so I'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
I promise.
All right, so, the next meeting, we can have, you'll be able to update us on it.
Sure.
Four point three, Patricia, do you mind talking a little bit about yourself and your experience and why you're interested in Conservation Commission?
Hi, I'm Patricia Demelo, and I live on Pheasant Ridge Road. I got somewhat concerned years ago with, I saw turtles and different things, and then, since it kind of went from being, a sand pit where a lot of stuff was taken out of there, and then it got stopped. And then, all of a sudden the dirt bikes started and ATVs, and I had concerns about the turtles. And so I attended a couple meetings with the conservation and went down to, the room to talk to her and, just to find out if they were endangered or if it was just an abundance of them. But I saw a couple eggs destroyed and kind of broke my heart. So and then I got just the noise and everything else in there and the sand coming up from there. So anyway, that's how it sort of started. And I've been, I was able to walk down through there quite a bit and look around and, vegetation, everything was getting destroyed. And so I just, now it's so, you can't walk down there, at least from my house now, because it's all grown up. There's all kinds of trees and everything through there. So it's kind of hard to get in there, and there's clay, so if it gets wet, you stick. I have lost a couple of boots in there and stuff. So, but I hear them, and then, I can't think of her name. There's another woman that goes in there and checks on the turtles and things. But I had a couple of them come up to my yard, which I thought was neat. I didn't think I'd ever see any turtles come up. And so that's how it kind of started. And I did try to join a meeting, but there was a couple of us, and they had a vote, and this other gentleman got it. And so I said, okay, so I just waited, and then I heard there was an opening here, and I just would like to try to help out here in the town in some way. I don't have a lot of experience, but I figure, I can always learn, and if you want to send me out and just give me instructions or whatever, I'd be happy to do that. My husband passed away 3 years ago, and I have a lot of time on my hands right now. I just thought, anything to be busy and help out is what I really would like to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for her?
No, but thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
So meetings are held the second and fourth Wednesday of the month, and at 7 p.m. And
Please come to the next one.
yes,
Yeah, I will be here.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions about what we're talking about or why we do what we do,
Mhm.
feel free to ask any of us.
I shall.
um,
I'm sorry I'm wearing a mask. I should probably
No.
quit. I
okay.
lost my false teeth, the top ones, and two embarrassed have some, so I'm waiting for a new one. I don't want to live in that.
So,
It's convenient.
Yeah.
Jessica's our conservation agent, and Matt is our admin and then Mike Crowley is the land use coordinator, and that's our support staff and team, and they help guide us. But in terms of experience and gaining knowledge, MECC, Joan actually could probably talk about that more.
The Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissions offers classes. So, if you were on the board, we could pay for the classes, get you going. You could take as many as you wanted. You need 8 to be certified commissioner, but they're very informative, and even their free introductory course is pretty informative. So I think you'd enjoy it.
That would sound good.
So there is support material there too. So not any of us are experts here. That's why we rely on Jessica.
Okay.
Aside from the meetings here, we also do site visits occasionally. Those are business hours, Monday through Friday.
Right, yeah. Mhm.
Generally, that's, we'll just say 1 or 2 site visits a week. Or is that
If that,
over assumption?
Yeah,
Jessica coordinates them.
and they usually on Wednesdays.
Pat, you email?
No, yeah, if I have email.
Because Jessica and Matt typically email and
Oh, yeah.
materials to us.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Do you want me to give it to you guys or?
No, not, you don't need to right now, but it's just good to know that you have
Yeah, no, I
access.
do, yep.
Thank you.
So we move on to 5.0 education and conferences. 5.1. There is.
Real quick, James, you mentioned something about adding to 4.4, talking about the anonymous letters. Or I don't know if you still wanted to do that, or
I didn't put it in line.
Oh,
It was that.
that's right. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. I wrote it down, but didn't put it in the right spot. I guess what is, I'm fine that they're redacted and kept anonymous. I don't know how everyone else feels.
I
The
feel the
decision,
same way. Yeah, I feel the same way.
it's a board
Yeah.
decision. It's not.
I feel the same way. I think, the staff, I just don't want to see a lot of staff time when there's a neighborly dispute. And people are using up our staff time for that kind of problem. So, yeah, but we just have to leave it up to the staff to, work that out. Because that's something that can happen. And I don't know if you've had it happen yet, Jessica or Mike or.
I don't think it
You
has
just
yet.
send it up to Mike.
Yeah. I sent out Ambassador Mike.
But I leave the room for 1 second and I'm getting volunteered for something like that?
Yeah. I have heard, it's interesting though about anonymous complaints. I have heard the argument, someone said that it takes away from the strength of the complaint if it comes in anonymously, and I don't agree with that.
No,
If
I
it's,
don't agree
if
with
it's
that.
checked out.
I agree with you on that,
Yeah,
but I'm also comfortable with our staff redacting it
Right,
before it
Yeah.
gets
yeah.
forwarded to us.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. So, yeah.
I make a motion that correspondence coming to the Conservation Commission that comes in as a complaint, be delivered to the board anonymously.
Yeah,
second,
I just want to add to that. I don't want to see things sent in anonymously or from the complaint mailbox.
Right. So they go to Jessica and Mike with name, and then the name's just redacted when it comes to us. So it comes forwards to the board, the commission, not anonymous.
I do have one question. How do we respond to these complaints? Is it just inform of the complaint through these
That's
meetings?
Case by case
Yeah.
basis, because there was one complaint last meeting, if I remember correctly, that was out of our jurisdiction. It was on the state level.
Right.
So I'd assume that.
One of those 2 letters. Right.
But it would be Matt, Jessica, or Mike responding to those, stating that. And if there's more information needed, then, the person could come forward to us.
I think it's a good thing to go forward like this, but if we do get in a position where they become a nuisance to us and causing us unnecessary grief, that we can re-vote on it and make sure that people have the name on it, they're gonna file a complaint.
It's a point.
So we leave the option that we can ask Mike and Jessica who the author is after.
Or we could go into an executive session regarding nuisance or
Yeah, because if somebody just wants to, cause a scene and not back it, and if it comes out of control, and we don't want to reconsider the fact that people should have their names on it. It's a very controversial situation, just setting a complaint in without knowing who's on the other end of the complaint.
so the admin team would know who it is.
That's the first point of contention is right there. So if they want to slip it through and let it come to us, so we handle it from there. But if it gets out of control, we still have the opportunity and option to vote on it that you have to represent yourself with your name on the complaint. So it's a trial and error situation right now, in my opinion. So
I don't know if I'd vote on anything. I would maybe just agree with, we're okay with redacted
Yeah.
Yeah,
correspondence or.
Yeah.
Mike has his hand up.
I might
Just one hand, not both, just one.
Hi.
didn't know if you left the room.
Don't volunteer me for anything else, I swear. I just wanted to say, just for FYI, if there is a public records request that comes in, we do have to disclose the information. There's certain caveats for protected private information, but things like name aren't generally covered in that. So these kind of records, there would still be some avenue if someone wanted to gain awareness of who was there. But it sounds like what we're talking about is just the idea that we are allowing the option for comments to come forward anonymously if they wish to be. It sounds like what we're kind of working towards. But I just wanted to throw that pin in there that regardless of how we proceed, if there was a formal public records request, that information that is public information has to become public. So there's still that piece of accountability regardless.
thank you.
So, like I said, I don't feel that we need to make,
I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
but moving forward, we're all okay with
Yeah.
receiving.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Great. 5.0, education and conferences. 5.1, invasive workshop. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure I say this correct. So Wild and Scenic Rivers program is putting on a invasive plant ID and management field workshop, June 25th at 9 a.m. in Groton. This program is free and open to people living or working in the communities along the wild and scenic designated rivers: Air, Bolton, Brookline, Dunstable, Groton, Harvard, Hollis, Lancaster, Pepperell, Shirley, and Townsend, sponsored by the Nashua, Squannacook, and Mississippi Rivers Wild and Scenic Stewardship Group. And it is being held at Williams Barn and Shorehog Woods Conservation Area, which is 160 Chicopee Row in Groton. Matt, I don't know if you could send the email out to.
I had forwarded you guys all this email like a while back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
Just making sure. Again, it's free. It's from 9 to 1. Thank you, Ann. So it's an opportunity. It's also the same day as the Pepperell 4th of July parade.
Oh,
That's all I have. 6.0 items for discussion at the next meeting. Joan is going to get us an answer about dues versus memberships.
yeah, and about Matt's unpaid invoice. unpaid invoice and, forward them another list of commissioners.
Does anyone have anything to add to the next
Do we
meeting?
have to do the continuation of the OOC for Brett King for 27 scales?
Yep. That's on. So the next meeting is Wednesday, July 13th, 2022 at 7 PM. Board of Selectmen Chambers, second floor. This meeting will also be held via virtual Zoom remote in accordance with COVID-19 safe meeting guidelines.
James, you know what I think? Well, maybe after July 15th, when the state makes their announcement about if they're gonna remove the COVID protocols
Yes.
for meetings, we'll want to discuss, going forward, if we're going to allow, I'm assuming we would allow Zoom access just the way we are now, et cetera.
I believe the town has guidelines on that already.
No, you don't have to allow Zoom
Not
access.
Zoom. We can just, you want to discuss it now, or? do we
No,
wanna
wait,
get
let's
more-
see what the
more-
state, when
I don't wanna-
the state comes through. Mike, you'll hear from the state, right?
If the state says anything, I will hear it.
Right.
That means you guys have to come in.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, so
It's a thing, that's all.
Dr. Lecter, I don't know why we take away the Zoom for people who want to attend.
well, according to boards and commissions bylaws for the town, you can call in.
You can call in, but you don't have to allow Zoom access. You have to allow call-in access, but you don't, some
Call-in
boards
access
don't
for-
allow
For the
TCAM and,
commission members.
right, and Channel
You can
9
call in.
broadcasting and all that.
But Zoom, moving forward with Zoom. I think
like
it's
it.
great. I don't
Yeah, right.
see it being bad.
I think everybody should have to have it, I think.
Well-
But what my understanding is the big, if they lift the COVID protocols, it's that you'll have to have a physical quorum of commissioners in the room. Whereas before you could have, everybody could be Zooming.
Yeah. So you have to have a physical quorum for members, but say one person's not here, they can call in.
Right.
And vote, but we have to have a quorum to.
Has it change anything if they're physically here? I don't understand.
We wouldn't, right now, we could all be on Zoom and still have this meeting. Yeah. And in fact,
Well-
during COVID, we were all on Zoom many times.
Yeah. We'll just, in my opinion, revisit it when
Yeah.
the new guidance comes out. We need to.
Sorry, is the question one or the other to do call access or Zoom access, or will it be both?
That's the debate.
Oh, that's a debate.
Well, it's, call access is, it's already part of it. You can do that.
Okay.
But the Zoom access, there's no real written bylaws for that.
Oh, I understand.
So moving forward, after the COVID-19 safe meeting guidelines are removed, as a commission, do we want to allow access via Zoom?
And it's great. Zoom access, I think is fabulous. So long as you have internet and computer, mobile phone, so there's some.
And you can always just
Hardware,
call
yeah.
in using the Zoom numbers.
Mhm.
So,
Oh.
yeah, you don't have to show your face.
Oh.
You can just call, using it, so.
Okay. Getting an education.
So we need a motion to adjourn in a second.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. At 8:15 PM. Joan Savoy,
Yes,
Linda Mack,
yes.
Colby Streeter,
Yes.
Ann LaCour.
Yep.
Jim LaCour. Yep. James Gates, yes.